All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We have another super software here with us today, and James, co-founder of Merchant Spring, is here to show it to us. It is a great tool for anybody that is looking to, do analytics, do reporting for multiple channels, agencies, or brands. So, welcome to James.
Thanks, David. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, great having you. All right, so before we get going and have a look at the actual tool and how it can help sellers and agencies, I like to always start a little bit with some questions just to get into it and get to know a bit more about Merchant Spring and yourself. So, first of all, how did you get started with the software? What was the motivation behind it? How did you personally perhaps join the whole project?
It's actually myself and a co-founder. We are both based here in Melbourne, Australia,
Yeah, Paul,
and
I
we
know
know
him.
each. Yeah, Paul, and we met through being employed by the same company, which was actually a marketplace in Australia called Catch, which is now long gone. But
Wow.
essentially, when we were there, we were interacting with a lot of brands, a lot of agencies, and so Catch as a marketplace was doing all sorts of things like onboarding brands and dealing with agencies, and Catch as a marketplace was providing some level of reporting to brands and agencies. However, I guess how we landed on starting Merchant Spring is by seeing the gap in the analytical and reporting need that brands and agencies and ultimately brands needed when managing marketplaces. So that was really how we got the idea, and then got started, and here we are, right? So
Sweet. That brings me to the second question right away, which is simply, were there any major learnings from that early time building up the software? You know, yeah.
yeah, look, there were huge learnings. I think from day one we had a very clear intention to be a multi-channel reporting tool, whether that's
Mm.
many multiples of the same channel or many multiples of many different channels. That had always been our intention, and that's because when we assessed the competitive landscape when we started, there were a lot of Amazon specific solutions, and I thought, one of the key differences is by offering many channels, especially for those in Europe who are balancing like,
Mm.
Zalando, Mano, Cdiscount, all sorts of things. And then now in America, you've obviously got Walmart and various other specialty marketplaces alongside Amazon. So yeah, that was a major learning, because yeah, going at it at a point solution, I think would have been
Mm.
very, very competitive. And who knows, we may not have ended up where we are today as a result.
Cool. So would you say European markets or sellers are your most important clients or your main clients, or
Every client's an
has that
important
changed?
client, David.
I know.
Every client is the most important. But I think, seriously, I think it's a healthy balance. UK, Europe, and North America is, quite equally spread throughout our business. There's not one particular region that
Mm.
really
And
is
has it
the
changed in North America a little bit since maybe Walmart has become more prominent? Did you see like people needing
uh,
more multi-channel solutions?
yeah, definitely today. We definitely see, things, everything from like Kroger to Best Buy to
Mm.
Chewy to Walmart and Amazon and Instacart and all sorts of things. And I think I was trying to put my finger on what drives this diversification. And I guess from an
Mm.
agency level, they're trying to diversify their services and ultimately diversify revenue. And then from a brand level, they're also trying to diversify revenue and reduce concentration risk. But I
Yeah.
think there's incremental audiences to be had. So both at a brand and an agency level, there it's a money making opportunity, and it's getting broader as time goes on.
And what do you say to people who are like saying, well, okay, but 90% of my potential revenue is on Amazon. I should really focus on it and do that right.
Yeah, I think that's also holds true. But I think where you have to be pragmatic is it may not be that much of a incremental effort to get yourself onto another
Mm.
marketplace. And if that's so, then you may as well
Why
do
not?
it. I understand for some brands it's a disproportionate amount of effort, and in that case it wouldn't make sense. So yeah, it's case by case.
Yeah. Cool. All right, then shall we have a look at Merchant Spring? Then I'll
Yeah.
just share your screen. One second. There we already have it, I believe. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so we're looking at the main page. I think it might be, given what we were just talking about, I think it might be worth starting with the the channel connection screen. It sounds a bit boring, but really here you can actually see all the channels that we connect to. So you got your Amazon seller and any seller central account globally, Amazon vendor, eBay, Shopify, Walmart, but then also you have a very large selections of channels that you can connect to, everything from TikTok to Shopify, Mercado Libre, all sorts of different marketplaces, which have different levels of importance depending where you are in the world. Like in some markets, some of these marketplaces are larger than Amazon. But if you're in America, you might have no idea what Otto is, as an example. But for some people, that is extremely, extremely important. So I thought I'd start here just to show the breadth of the e-commerce channels and also the advertising channels that we support as well. So being a dashboard, we do have to connect to a lot of channels to be relevant and useful to a whole bunch of people. So we connect to a lot of e-commerce channels, but also advertising channels too. And then also, one of the later additions is the Amazon's Clean Room, Amazon Marketing Cloud as well. So you can connect. Basically, what I'm showing here is connect as many of these channels as you like. We have some clients that have like over 500 channels connected at once, and which is a mix of all sorts of things that I've just been showing on screen here.
Yeah. Cool.
So now we've established what we can connect to, which is a lot. Being a reporting and analytics suite, once you've connected all the channels that you're responsible for, either as an agency or as a brand, we visualize everything for you. Visualization kind of occurs at different levels. So like what I'm showing here on screen is the highest of high levels where, numbers are aggregations of all your channels connected. Like this number here, as an example, is a total of, in this demo account, I think it's roughly like 32 accounts, vendor, seller, Walmart, Best Buy, whatever. That number is all aggregated. So at this level, you're looking at complete aggregations of all your channels connected. And then we cover areas like general sales, orders, units, like little snapshot breakdowns by channel, performance of the same product across different channels. And then you can kind of get into, vendor central specific advertising reporting, advertising reporting, profitability specific dashboards. You can build your own dashboards at this level as well. And if you're an agency, you can filter these views at this really high level by account manager, by client, by region, by channel type, by country, or whatever. So this is a really, really high level reporting and visualization. From here is where you can get one layer deeper. So like, again, just before I was talking about roll-ups of all these numbers, but from here, let me just go. So the next level down, this is starting to get a little bit less sexy in how it looks, but from an agency and brand perspective, where there are many, many, many channels, this is quite a practical view and quite difficult to kind of quickly obtain, especially if you're going across many, many, many channels, right? So this is essentially a list of all the channels I have connected to my Mercury account. And as you can see, it's Mercado Libre, it's eBay, it's TikTok, but it's presented in a kind of harmonized way. So you can look at everything through the exact same kind of lens. So this is like what we call the portfolio view. And there are different portfolio views. This one's just general sales. But there's a portfolio view where most of the columns you see on screen are like ads metrics. And there's a profit portfolio view where most of the columns are like profitability metrics and stuff like that.
Nice.
So the next layer in the architecture is going into a specific channel itself. So just to recap, I've gone from really high level to a portfolio level. And now I'm just looking at this Amazon US account. And at this level is where you get all the kind of, detailed, sexy reports. So we bucket them using these buckets on the left-hand menu here.
Yeah.
So in the customer section, you see all the traffic and conversion, customer lifetime value, repeat purchases, all subscribe and save cancellation, all standard kind of stuff that's all point and click, no real config needed. Once you connect it in the data sync, it's pretty much ready to roll.
I wouldn't say that's standard. Not everybody has customer lifetime value, for example.
Oh, really? Okay.
Quite a few tools. But yeah.
So yeah, we've got all that bundled in there. And then in this sales inside section, it's all, again, very It looks very standard, but again, our feedback from customers is like, well, some of the tables in here are actually, in reality, tables connected to tables, connected to tables, connected to tables, whereas we're just presenting it as kind of like a point and click thing. So sales by product, sales by parent, sales performance over long periods of time, and then you can filter that by different products if you want to see that. Anyone familiar with e-commerce would probably be very familiar with these reports in some form or another.
Yeah. Can you filter by certain product tags or groups?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we have this module called Sales by Group. It's essentially a way to group your catalog how you want. So for larger CPG groups that we work with, they'll actually create groups for each of the brands that they own. And then once the group is created, you can obviously then see performance of just that segment of your product catalog. And in a more advanced sense as well, you can actually create a whole channel in our dashboard based on the group, and then in which case you can get everything like reporting and profitability and inventory and all that just for that specific group. So it's quite a powerful thing that's
So
in
wait,
there.
the groups work across channels as well? So
Yeah,
the same group
yeah.
basically see the performance on Walmart, etc.
Yeah, exactly. So I could create so if I was a CPG group, and I had a group called pet food, I could create that pet food group in here in Amazon Seller Central. Then if I had Walmart as the same CPG group, I could create another group in that Walmart account as pet food, assuming it's the same brands. Then back in that portfolio level that I was showing before on screen, you could tag both of those pet food groups as pet food brand A or whatever. And then actually you would see the aggregated numbers of the same products across Amazon and Walmart, even though they're actually living in two different channels. So that's totally possible.
Very cool.
So that's all very standard e-commerce stuff. Profitability is next. So we have profitability at a channel level. We have profitability over time as well. And then we have profitability at a product level as well, which every product in your catalog will have a kind of a P&L you can access. These tables and charts are customizable in terms of what fields you want to show. And then for Amazon Seller Central specifically, the only thing we really ask the user to input is the COGS. And again, that's if they don't want to import it, that's fine. It'll still work based on all the fees and the revenues, contra revenues, expenses, that we get from Amazon. It'll still work. But if you import COGS, then you can probably get a true view of your profitability per unit.
You can upload COGS, and
yeah, exactly.
Can you upload like a date for the specific COG to know when it changed and how it? Yeah.
So we have this mechanism called the effective date. So when you import the COGS, you just set an effective date, and that controls the date range that the COGS is applied to.
Very nice.
So that's profitability. In channel listings, we have two components here. One is essentially monitoring the content. We call it content change alerts, but essentially it's just monitoring the catalog to determine if to detect, and it's listening to changes on the catalog level, either from other sellers or whatever, so you can see that. And then we also have suppressed products, which is essentially just listening for product suppression and then to determine why a product is suppressed. This is a demo account, so I don't have any data in it, unfortunately.
This is again across all channels, suppressed listings on Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, there are variations. So all the functionality I'm showing you, it's bucketing wise, like these high level menu items, is generally the same across all the channels. Some marketplaces use different language. So Walmart, they call it like listing quality assessment or something very different, but actually in our language, in our world, it's like basically the same.
No.
Pricing, we have a little buy box module as well, which is essentially just listening to changes to the listing in terms of who winning the buy box, the price, your price, the percentage difference, so on and so forth. Again, for other marketplaces where they have a buy box type world, which you'll find around the world, we also offer a variation of this. Again, if they don't call it the buy box, we'll call it something else. But there's a variation of this for channels that work in this type of way. Then operations, we have account health, which is generally something we have for all the channels that we connect to. This review management section is specific to Amazon. So actually using the review review management APIs from Amazon, where you can actually control when you ask for review, what orders you ask for reviews for, etc., etc. It's
Mm.
not like us making some crazy thing. It's literally just using Amazon's API to remain compliant with asking for reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then there's this FBA inventory report. Essentially, what this is it allows you to input some metrics like your order lead time, target days cover, and a minimum restock when you're out of stock. And then configure the demand signal. So we can allow a user to configure, hey, Merchant Spring, listen to the 7-day demand velocity, 7-day, 30-day, 60-day, 90 days, and then you can weight that. And essentially, it sounds all very complicated, but essentially, if you will just basically say, David, you should replenish this because we've listened to the demand signal.
Mm.
We know how long your order lead time is. Send this in. So that's all here as well. And then lastly, we have marketing, which is really just the reporting and analytics for all of the paid advertising activity you do on Amazon. I'm just trying to find an account with some better demo data in here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any good demo data.
No worries.
But yeah, it's all the standard metrics that you see up here. And then also you can get into like campaign level performance, product level performance, keyword level performance, etc. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel. It's just the essentials that agencies and the like kind of need to report on. So that's this is really like what I've shown here, the core pieces of the platform. I do want to just cover off probably 3 more things. So just really quickly, we have this reports functionality here. So essentially what this is a build your own report in a drag and drop kind of arrangement. So all the little bubbles that I've got, I'm just scrolling through here, they're all the like components of the tool that I've just spent the last 5 minutes going through. You can drag and drop as little or as much as you like into a report here, and then you can save it. This report you can either generate once and create a link and share it, or you can send it to your client. If you're an agency or if you're a brand, you can send it to your colleague or whatever. But essentially, this is like a very point and click, set and forget, build a report, off you go. I would say more than 90% of our agency clients use this, and it's saved them hundreds of hours in preparing reports and getting it sent and forgetting about reports and all this. So I would say it's a really critical piece, not only to our tool, but to our clients' operations as well.
I could imagine also for a C-level of brands, it's very interesting to just have that across all your channels, and maybe even the main or only reason they would need Merchant Spring. And then if they want to go really deep, they might even have another tool, let's say, the typical profit trackers that I talk about a lot, that are a bit more detailed, at least when it comes to profit tracking. But still, they want that kind of overview across all channels. And yeah, that report seems to be kind of worth going.
Yeah, no, it's, our feedback from clients is like, it's a great talking point, even at the high level. And the detail that we do provide for some organizations is pretty sufficient, fit for purpose, especially for agencies, actually. So for agencies, our P&L reporting is very much digestible and interpretable by anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, the second last thing I wanted to talk about was our AI module as well. So in here you can say, give David a analysis on the last month's sales performance, and I'm just going to select a channel that I want to ask that query for. So I'm just going to run that while we talk. So this is kind of, so yes, it's like, you can query Merchant Spring and ask it anything, and it will tell you like a whole bunch of explanations. It'll tell you what's working, what's not working, next steps, best next action, etc., etc. But what's really interesting is this is actually also can be interlinked with the report builder that I was sharing on screen before. So in that report builder, you can drag and drop this module called comments. So actually the comments section, you can link up to this, And what it'll do, it'll like just insert this into the report that you're sending out. So here you go. You've got, hello, David. I've completed a detailed analysis of blah blah blah, sales, etc., etc. And now it's trying to make an
Yeah.
interactive visualization for it. So
Oh,
we see, you know, I mean, we see our clients being much better experts in controlling this, but you can ask it to. I'll just try and demonstrate it here. Redo the visualization in the styling of BMW cars. What we see a lot of clients doing is putting very specific visual controls as well into the visual sort of queries and requests into this, as well as kind of written. So they'll actually be able to generate reports in the styling of the client.
yeah.
I'm obviously not as good as some of them, but yeah, you can really ask it to do anything.
Yeah.
And to be honest, some clients are more, yeah, there we go. M performance analytics, and in those, their colorways. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing that's helped our clients quickly do deep dives, quickly understand what's happening, quickly understand what's going on, insert it into their reports. And also some clients who want to make like crazy custom tables with metrics from here and there, they run the queries in here and it just spits it out for them, which is also super powerful for them.
Sweet. So which AI is this using?
Underpinning it is, I would say it's mostly Gemini.
Gemini. Okay, interesting. And I guess it will also get better as Gemini gets better. Or
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd hope so. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're not actively like working on the AI. It's just you're making use of AI and your data.
Yeah, exactly. And then giving it to our clients,
Yeah.
because like we offer things like API gateway and MCP server, and there's some clients that have like connected their Claude to our MCP server or their ChatGPT to our MCP server, and some people have API gateway flowing into things. But for those that are don't have time to do all that wiring and technical stuff, this is a great solution because they can just come here and just straight away start prompting as well.
Yeah. Cool. I believe you mentioned a third thing that you wanted to show.
Yeah, the very last thing is not as sexy as all that, but I guess quite practical for some people, is we have this whole location engine in here. So I'll just walk through a very quick example. And like, honestly, so there was a point in time where I forgot it even existed until a client reminded me the other day. But essentially what this does is you can control notifications that get sent to yourself as the user. So lost buy box, suppressed listing, low inventory, content changes. The thing in here that's interesting is that you can kind of control what products you want to get these notifications for as well. Like a lot of feedback we'd gotten was it's too much noise, it's too heavy, give me a summary, or let me just track this for kind of like very serious products. And we've built that, and yeah, feedback's been great on this. Whilst it's simple, it's effective.
Sweet. Cool. Anything else you'd like to show us about Merchant Spring that maybe other tools don't have? Or
Yeah, I mean, there's one that I'd like to show, but it's a bit difficult because it would be talking about clients. But this whole platform can be white labeled. So typically, when agencies use us, we reskin the whole thing where it's like green and orange, and it's got their logo, and the URLs, even the URL's different. It'll be like app.davidzimmerman. But yeah, that's a very popular thing that we don't really talk about that much, I suppose. Agencies love it because they can parade it as their own tech, and their clients can log in and all this stuff. So yeah, I would say that's a big point of difference. We're proud of.
Sweet. Well, I would say that was pretty cool. If there's not anything else, I guess we can just finish off with some final questions.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So, final two questions that I have prepared for you. Where do you see the software and yourself in the next 5 years? Or maybe 3 years, because things are so quickly now with AI.
Yeah, I mean, I think myself, I guess this is not a fully serious answer, but I see myself in 3 years still running the company and still living in Australia, so that won't change. The business and the product, I would see definitely evolved. Like we try and evolve it every 3 weeks, so evolving it to accommodate whatever's relevant in 3 years. That might be like at the most basic level connecting to whatever channels are relevant. Like that 165 channel where we connect to, I suspect it'll be like 300 plus in the next 3 years, probably. I also see more analytics where we're, I guess, showing a buying journey or customer journey across platform.
Mm.
Actually, there's a client in Japan that's using our AI to run reports where, he's got a report where it's like the traffic on Instagram goes to the traffic on TikTok and then goes ultimately to the Amazon for the conversion. He's using Amazon attribution and all this stuff in there connected to Merchant Spring. But he's trying to paint this journey of like, you do this over here and then it ends up here and then it ends up as a sale over here. And this is the economics of it all.
Yeah,
So
maybe
if
also
it's
connect retail itself.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think a lot of clients are talking to us about that already. So I'd see a lot more cross-channel reporting
Mm.
and then connecting to more channels if I was to put it in two very basic ways.
Sweet. Yeah, and then we have the question from the previous guest for you, which is Meher from Hector, asking, "Are you afraid of the AI evolution, and how are you preparing for it or your company for it?"
I'm not afraid at all of the AI revolution. I think evolution. I think that it will, if you look at it closely and embrace it, I think you'll see more applications. And from a business sense, you'll see more opportunities for monetization, customer retention, customer satisfaction. So, like, I wholeheartedly recommend everyone to embrace it and don't even ever use the word afraid. How are
Cool.
you preparing your company for it? I think that we're preparing by talking about it every single day. Like, I think that we were probably one of the very first, maybe Sky was very close, but maybe one of the first to release a remote MCP server and let people just connect our data, their accounts data into Claude and ChatGPT. We're just basically like every time there's an advancement, like maybe it's next thing might be advertising context protocol. Like we'll just read it, engage in it, and do something, even if it's not immediately commercialized. We're just gonna go forward and embrace it and launch something.
How does that look like in practice inside your company? Do you have like a fixed AI block to talk about how can we do this with AI, or is every meeting, I don't know, does it have an AI session?
So we run a pretty traditional engineering team in terms of like development and releasing and testing and all that jazz. But I would say our team structure is such that we're running like a lab model. So there's actually a couple of people whose job is just to build things in Merchant Spring that perhaps are, I guess, a little bit experimental. So that gives us the bandwidth to kind of quickly invest engineering resources in these sorts of things.
All right. And then finally, what would you like to ask the next guest of the show?
That is a very good question. I would like to ask how do they feel about the tech stack in the next 3 years? What do they think that would look like for a brand?
For a brand, I was about to ask, or you mean like for software companies?
No, for a brand.
For a
Like,
brand.
what type of tools are they using? I mean, in my mind, I'm like, maybe they'll be using tools that we don't even know exist today in categories that we don't even exist today. So I'm curious to know what someone else thinks about this.
You're making it way too easy for me to kind of lead into a little pitch for my own new project, which is the Amazon Tools League VIP community, where it's all about discussing tech stacks and brands and owners sharing what tools they're using, what AI they've tested, and all the experiences they had. And of course, they also get access to all my software overviews to really filter down what they need and who has it and etc. So yeah, thanks for that little intro. Yeah, but I also, of course, have to mention that as a viewer of this channel, you can get Merchant Spring with a discount of 10% on the first 12 months if you use the link down below in the description and comment section. So, yeah, any final words? Where can they find you if they have any questions? What's your favorite social platform?
Oh, like LinkedIn's very easy. We're probably in mutual Slack channels or WhatsApp groups. Just ping me directly. Whatever. I always chat to everyone anytime.
Okay, well, probably LinkedIn is the easier way to find you then. I'm not sure how I would find the WhatsApp group. But yeah, Sweet. Then thanks a lot, James, for joining us and showing us Merchant Spring. I think it was very useful to everybody looking for multi-channel tools. And yeah.
Cool. Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks again to James and everybody watching this. I just have a little request for you. If you like this kind of content and you always want to be on the hunt for the best new tools and you don't want to fall behind other people in terms of the tools they use to help their business grow, then please subscribe, and that will also help you not miss out on an upcoming overview and ranking of all reporting tools, including, of course, Merchant Spring. And yes, as a little teaser, I can already tell you they will be ranking quite high in the multi-channel scoring system. But of course, there are other scoring systems as well for perhaps agencies focusing on Amazon. So don't miss out on that one. Subscribe. And I'll see you around. Bye-bye.